Greetings, upstanders. Dr. O here, and it's been unfortunate but not surprising to see people bring up this idea of, well, these people, the conservatives, they were mad about cancel culture on the left, and now they're doing the same thing. And they're talking about people like uh, people who are going after Charlie Kirk critics, like people getting fired at Office Depot and American Airlines and Delta and the NFL. And Bondi saying, we're going to prosecute people at Office Depot who don't want to print a picture of Charlie Kirk. People are getting arrested for their critiques of Charlie Kirk, and a lot of people who are Charlie Kirk supporters are calling for this, and they're bringing up this is what happened during Black Lives Matter. This is what happened during the Me Too movement, and it was wrong then and it's wrong now. Or some are saying, well, they did it, so now we're going to do it. Somebody needs to explain to these folks that it is not the same thing. Is it true that during the Me Too movement and during the Black Lives Matter movement, now of course Black Lives Matter is still ongoing, Me Too is still ongoing, but I'm talking about when they were at their height. Is it true that people who are supporters of various causes and wanted to target people like Harvey Weinstein or Cosby or people during the Black Lives Matter who target people who made racist comments about George Floyd and various things and targeted them and say that they should be fired and launch online campaigns and all of that other type of stuff? Is that actually true? Yes, it's true. There are people who try to get folks fired for what they said. Or hold corporations and other companies and schools accountable for what was said. The difference now is that there is government sponsored actions towards quote unquote canceling people. Nobody can say that President Biden or President Obama was working actively with, I don't know, Amnesty International or the Black Lives Matter or global organization to get people fired, targeted, prosecuted, doxxed, and so on and so forth. That is a huge difference that cannot be ignored. Because the fact of the matter is, Stephen Miller said they're going to use every tool possible to silence these critics of Charlie Kirk and silence anybody who they feel celebrated his death or critiqued him in a particular way. He said, whether it's RICO charges, whether it's financial, he said, we're going to do everything possible to take your money and take your freedoms. That did not happen with the Black Lives Matter movement. That did not happen with the Me Too movement. That did not happen with any of these organizations considered on the left side of politics. And that's a serious distinction to make. I'm not even a big fan of the term cancel culture itself. You'll see why in my book, Trigger Words, coming out next year. But this has to be called out. This has to be called out. Using the government to partner with your favorite organizations to go after organizations and people that you hate, to destroy their lives and destroy their organizations. So you can call people other American groups and people left-wing terrorist cells. Like that's obviously ridiculous. But this is where we are. And so this is not the same. Y'all, we can talk about the need to get rid of political violence and tone the rhetoric down. Absolutely, all day. I talk about that. But stop letting people both sides and whataboutism this all the way to the ground, because people who are both sizing this don't want to have a conversation. People who are whataboutisming this don't want to have a conversation. And that's a fact. Like I mentioned in another post, it's a fact that Democratic leaders don't call for political violence, but Republican leaders do. It's not the same. People on the left, people who are Democrats have called for violence, yes, but not the elected leaders. It's not the same. So it's just very important that we make this distinction, and people always want to try to point at something that they don't like to justify what they're doing in the moment, and that can be true from all sides as well. But this idea that what people who are MAGA, people who are Republicans, people who are conservatives, people who are extremists are doing to target free speech and free speech people, and people who are practicing their free speech by sharing their critiques, or just in some instances, like Karen Attiah from the Washington Post, just general thoughts about him. Nah, they're using state-sanctioned resources to go after them, and it starts with the top with President Trump. And that never happened under Biden. That never happened under Obama. That never happened over whatever movement was going down when Clinton was president. It's just not true. So keep it real, y'all. Let me know what y'all think. Hit me up in the comments. Also subscribe, y'all. Let's get to 25,000 subscribers. It'd be greatly appreciated. It's always a good day to be an upstander, never a bystander. Peace.